pop as opposed to underground, which is everything from the beginning of house to trance to acid house to jungle to breakbeat. You understand?
Yeah.
It's kind of, is it elite? Can you say that, Cheryl? Is it elite? Is the underground scene elite? No.
Not really.
It's kind of is a way, sort of.
Sort of.
What do you think? I never thought about that. The underground scene is elite, because when you say underground scene, you're pinpointing a specific scene rather than a country club. You know, everybody's doing the bus stop, whatever you call that.
Yeah, but there's many aspects to the scene. You could be included in the scene and not be as underground because you don't.
But the scene, is underground. Whatever scene someone is thinking about is not like U2 or like, I mean, Too Unlimited, Twilight Zone.
Yeah, but it's becoming more popular. If you watch TV commercials, you hear like random jungle tracks or random
it's becoming popular, but with that, you got the stupid ass, pardon my French, fucking commercial heads creeping their heads into underground music and exploiting and saying, let's make a commercial and let's add a pop twist to it. It'll be groovy. And no, you're fucking the music up, you know? If you're gonna put something, you know, leave it the way it is. Don't add, I mean, you don't see Prince adding a banging techno kick to any of his tracks, am I right? No. He does pop music. So why all of a sudden they want to
music?
Exactly. Why they want to change our music, you know, into a pop twist? We don't change theirs.
That happens there, the underground scene.
But you understand what I'm saying to you? You don't see Prince or like someone like Bon Jovi adding a gang, say I love to you. No, they keep it real. You understand? They keep it real. Why they gotta change our shit? You know, for a commercial, it shouldn't be like that.
It's the music of the future. If you think about it, it's
then leave it the way it is.
It's technology.
We've been flying for 10 years. Leave it the way it is.
I agree with you.
No, I'm saying though,
to rationalize it. That the music is coming from computers and technology. Like that's how it's made. It's not made from like people, you know.
I got the answer. You know what it is?
And whatever, like.
Remember this word, people. They're making it ear friendly for the average middle class person in New York City, white, Hispanic, whatever you want to call it, that you know don't know nothing about a nightlife or a club scene, that just hear like pop. Just all they get is just commercial stuff on the radio, so they make it ear friendly. Because I mean, come on, a person listens to classical music and jazz, hears some gang, oh my gosh, what? And then they hear Too Unlimited. Wow, this is the Twilight Zone. Hang on, let's go to a club, baby. They make it more ear friendly, and that's not what underground music is about. You know, they are underground. There's enough music in the underground scene that's ear friendly, and it doesn't have to be commercial or twist it into a pop version. You know, with the exploitation is not needed. Thank you. That's the answer. You know, so since '86, what is it? 1998 is like what? It's been more than 10. We're fine. You know, now the music is breaking into the mainstream, but I mean, it's gonna go the wrong way if you have someone like Warner Brothers taking over, because they never gave a damn about techno music, or neither did MTV. Not to diss them, they're doing something good, but back then they were like, oh, what they call it, indie.
Then where do you see the future of music in general heading?
Very good question. It really depends, man.
Like, if you think about
like myself, what I was doing.
See the way rock and roll started, and how it progressed into mainstream, and how it's dying down, and it's turning into something else.
It is?
I think it is. Rock and roll. There's no more like rock and roll anymore. Do you know? You know what I mean?
Really?
No, it's all like a big circle. It's a big circle, and like eventually, unfortunately, I think all this the scene now, it's still like a baby, and eventually, like as the future goes on and things get more into technology and computers and stuff, this music is going to come mainstream, and then something else is going to evolve, and things just evolve from each other.
You know why they're doing that? Because it's selling. They can't help. They can't help. They can't help the masses. What's the name of this group, man? What is their name? I forgot their name. They cut a track.
But you can also think of it, instead of thinking of it in such a negative way, you can think of it in like just the way that the cycles
I'm not
evolve.
thinking about it in a negative way. I'm just responding to what's going on out there. We don't need a pop twist. We don't need a rock twist.
Oh, I agree.
I'm just asking, leave it the way it is. Leave techno as techno. We don't need you, let's make a pop twist. We don't need that. You know, we're into the understanding worldwide amongst, what is that? What are you getting, the camera?
System lights.
You know, until, if it goes worldwide and we all have an understanding, because there'll always be those heads that gonna be like, I disagree with that. It shouldn't be exposed to the masses. And that's a misconception, because the same way they were exposed, it's fair that everyone else gets exposed to it, you know? So we gotta get to them and go, look, it's okay. that it gets exposed. But if we lead it, and you people who are the mainstream, Jeff Mills and all those people, are in front, then nothing will happen to it. It won't get exploited. You know, but if they turn their back, what's gonna happen? Someone like Warner Bros. Is gonna go, you know what? I'll make a pop version. No one's here. No one's telling me not to do it. You know? And that's the problem we have today. Let the leaders say, you know what? Fuck that. I'm going. Let's keep it underground. Let's go more under. But they're not leading. If they was to be leading, they'll probably, you know what I'm saying? The music will stay the way it is, and it wouldn't be exploited, and it would probably be exposed to the world in a better way in its true form. Period. You know?
You just have to fight against it, because like that's the way it is. But eventually, it's going to be adapted into popular culture, into normal life, because that's what your life's going to be. I mean, you see the way that computers and technology are taking over, web and blah blah blah. That's what the music's going to become, and that's why you start to see it on TV. And unfortunately, it's becoming commercialized. There's always going to be an underground scene. There's always going to be new forms in that evolving. But it's still such a new scene that it's still so underground, and it's just coming out into.
All respects to him. He's a great producer. But he can commercialize motherfucker. Anyway, do y'all know, anyone here knows why they labeled it house music? What we know as house today. Why was it called house music? Because no one knows? Because when the music was being made at the time, they were kind of doing like acetate, like test pressings, and they were actually use it in warehouse parties or in apartment parties, like in a house. That's where the music was being used. That's why they labeled it house music. Because like in the beginning, back in '85 and '86, when we was like in diapers, all of us, that's how the movement started, and then they just left it as it is.
So many
and I was into like what was I into, like everything that was out, like break beats, I used to break dance and the freestyle, some of it, not all of it. I guess hip hop. But then when I heard it, I was like, I think I heard "Can You Feel It" by Todd Terry. Caesar.
God damn.
Can you feel it? I was like, I can't explain it, man. It's like the first time you have sex, where we're like sex out there. You know what I'm saying? It's like, wow. I remember to do this every now and then. Click, you know. When I just went up there with my mouth open, and I heard this beat, you know, doom doom. I was like, oh my goodness. Then I went into the room where they were DJing, and I saw the guy beat matching, and I was like, how the hell you do that? And he was like, yo, here's my number, I'll show you. And ever since then, this was like back in '87, between '86 and '87. I just totally got into it. The music just captured me. It seemed so different from everything else, you know, and it specifically targeted at the dance floor. It seemed, you know, it seemed like a driving beat that people can dance to, you know. So ever since, it's kind of a movement, man. That's why I guess it's called underground music, because it never got respect where it can cross over to the radio and the way it was made, whether it was hard edged or not. So it was just called, it was tagged underground because of that reason. And ever since then, it just started evolving. People started messing around with what is called the 303, which is an acid machine. And ever since then, it started evolving. Then they labeled it acid house. They put acid sounds in it. I don't know if anyone here knows the acid sound. I know Cheryl does. You guys know what the acid sound is like? It's like a then it's labeled at trance. Does anybody know how trance came about? That series? That up? I think Caesar knows. Nobody knows? You know what it was? They would make like a 12-inch, and they would do like a version. And it would sound like dreamy, so they call it trance version, or like trancey version.
Yeah.
And then from there, people started taking that version and just evolving it more, making it more broad. So then it started having its own whole side, trance mix, and they called it trance. And then put the speed exactly. Back then, the speed was just the same as house.
Yeah, it was.
And then they pitched it up a notch, and it was faster. But we still have both speeds. There's trance that has house speed, and there's trance that it's interesting. I never thought of it that way. That is like Gonzo, hard trance. And now you hardly even hear trance as house speed. Or am I wrong? Yeah, I'm kind of right and wrong. There is some out there.
Yes, some out there.
But trance, the label is like pow.
Because hard
trance 150 BPM, doom, doom, you know.